the key thing is that we're through. And not just through with the shaky 1-0 or you know a set piece, for example. No, we're through not only because we were the better team across both legs for sure, but especially in this game. But beyond that, I think we're through because of individual brilliance, and I think in the Champions League, that's key. That's big to see. That's important because yeah, you do want to dominate teams like we dominated PSV 7-1, but that's not always possible. Bayer Leverkusen had us and then Bayern visit their stadium and drew with both of us 1-1. And against Bayern, they were unlucky not to win. A few, I think, one or two goals ruled off because of offside for both teams, but it was a tight game where Bayer Leverkusen were good, and against us, they were also good. They went to City away and won 2-0. I think, out of their 4 or 5 away games in the Champions League, they've won 3 of them. So this isn't a bad team, right? This is a solid Champions League team. Um, and we showed them up, right? They came to our ground, and I think we were the better team throughout. I don't really remember them threatening our goal that much. Maybe a few punch shots here and there, but generally not really threatening our goal. We had a flurry of chances in the first half, set pieces, open play, etc., etc. And then just when it was looking like just like against Everton where the goalie was just on steroids, prime David De Gea, Manchester United against Arsenal, that type of vibe. Eze, magic. I think my two players that I would argue to be man of the match are the two players that scored the goals. Just pure magic. I think Eze, touch, volley, bang. That's magic that you need to win the big trophies, but especially the Champions League. That's stuff you need, and that's not easy to get. That's stuff that we were kind of missing throughout our Champions League run so far. Our Champions League campaigns, besides Bukayo Saka, who I will never say cannot produce magic because he can. Maybe this season he hasn't been as capable, but we saw it against Bayern at home 2-2. We saw it against Liverpool multiple times, City multiple times. In the big moments, he can produce magic. But this season, he hasn't been at that level, unfortunately, and that happens, right? He had a few injuries. It's okay. He can have an off season, and his off season, by the way, is not an off season like other people, aka Foden's off seasons or Cole Palmer's off seasons. No, he's having a bad GA season and a few bad performances, but generally he's still been good. But outside of Saka for the past few years, I feel like we haven't really had magic. We had Rice, that one Real Madrid tie, magic, right? But before Rice or before that tie, it felt like it was only Saka. But then today we shows kind of, first of all, why Rice is also another magic man. But on top of that, why we signed Eze. We signed Eze for those magic moments, for the ability to be another one, and luckily another English player to be able to produce that same level of magic. That technical quality on that strike, touch, volley, bang, top corner, power, technique, no one else, very few other players in our team could do that. Right, and with that pressure, 0-0, Champions League 1-1 in the on aggregate, and it's starting to get a little nervy because I think it's around the 40th minute or so, maybe a little bit later, maybe a little bit sooner. My memory's not the best, unfortunately. What a strike! Then I think after that 1-0, we're still playing well, but they have a little wave. I think before the first half ends, I believe. It's fine. We go in 1-0. We come back. It's, they're having little waves, but generally, I barely did anything. Generally, it was just us knocking on the door the whole time. And yeah, they had 15 minutes or so where I remember them dominating possession, but even then, we were the bigger threat because on transition, Gyökeres running with the ball, which is, this is his skill. He's a runner, and that's what he did today. He ran. Was he the best with his final action? Maybe not. Was he the most decisive? Probably not. Could he have made better choices? Like, could he have passed slipped through Saka one time instead of shooting? Yes, he could have. Same thing with Eze on one chance. I remember he could have slipped through Saka, but instead he decides to go for the shot. Gyökeres, whatever, you're a striker, I'll let it go. Eze, you've shown that you can bag in those moments. So yeah, take it on. I don't mind that. But regardless, I think we just dominated that game at home, and without it being a 4-0 or 3-0, that was as comfortable as it gets in a home tie with nerves, with, the quiet speculation of, oh, could there be an upset? Could this be classic UCL Arsenal in the past, where we'll have an easy tie and lose at home? Even in our prime days with Henri and that type of stuff, we would lose to the Chelseas, etc. at home. Could it be one of those again? But no, it wasn't. We stepped up as they stepped up, and then Rice, man, that second goal, running onto it, and then boom, it's like a curler, but it's a slight curl. It's going outside the post and then goes back in. It's kind of like his free kick. And honestly, he needs to do that more because he has the ability to. He has the ability to score those type of goals more consistently. Does he? No, but can he? Yes. And should he? Yes. So it's good to see that magic moment. I thought Trossard was close to scoring a few times. One through a Saka cutback. I think I can't remember what the other moment was. Another one was like a long shot that just went right wide of the post, the right post, but a lot of chances. We dominated that game. I think that game was generally comfortable. Should have been 3, should have been 4, but a comfortable second leg, which is what we needed. And then, man, right when we scored the second, Arteta makes a smart sub. So Arteta subs off Zubamendi. That's good because we need his legs. Subs off Ben White, which is good because we need him fit. Subs off who else was it? Subbed off Trossard, which makes sense because I'm assuming he wasn't fully fit to play the 90. And then Eze, he takes a little knock after a shot. Looks like, he just like probably hit his ankle a little awkwardly and sub him off right away. Get on Havertz. And then, Gyökeres probably tiring out a little bit. We'd rather keep him fit for the City game, where he can make an impact off the bench, hopefully. I don't want him starting. Then boom, you sub on MLS, and that's another big point. I wanted MLS to start. I think this can take us back to the starting 11. I wanted MLS to start because I think he deserves it. He deserves the minutes. But if you look at where he got subbed on, it wasn't as a left back. It wasn't pushing us to a back 3 with MLS as a left wing back. No, it was in midfield. That's good to see. Even if it's just a few minutes, it's good to see that he's testing it. He's testing the waters. He's trying it out because it shows that it's in his mind. It's in his mind to try him in midfield. And I would not be surprised if against Southampton in the FA Cup quarterfinal, we play MLS in midfield. Because he's not suspended anymore. He was supposed to play there against Mansfield. I wouldn't be surprised if he does. That's really good to see because there's progression, right? He's actually trying to convert him into a midfielder. And thank God he is. Because as a left back, I don't think he has the capability to play there for us ahead of Calafiori or Hincapié, which both offer us very different things. But I think MLS's ability at left back is no longer needed as much. I think he is a midfielder, and I'm glad to see him finally being progressed into that midfield. And yeah, there have been rumors that he's been, that was the plan, but it's good to actually see when he comes on, he's coming on as a midfielder. I was happy with that. But beyond that, I think the starting 11 was fine. Key thing, maybe key things I want to mention is one, I think this game, but also Everton shows that we need one of Calafiori and White to always be in the back 4 with Saliba. Everyone else, Gabriel, Mosquera, obviously Gabriel, we'd prefer him to start, but if Mosquera is there instead, or Hincapié is there instead, it's fine. But you need 2 of those build-up specialists. Gabriel isn't as much of a build-up specialist. Can he play the long ball, the vertical diag sometimes? And can they land? Yes. But generally, he is not like Saliba. He's not like White. He's not like Calafiori. His specialty isn't on the ball or build-up. Whereas, when we play with a Saliba and White, or Saliba and Calafiori, you see us be so much more dynamic, so much more progressive, so much more liquid. And so I think a key thing to note is that 2 of those need to play, which means that we need to keep Calafiori and White fit for the rest of the season, because being able to alternate between White and Timber, and then Calafiori and Hincapié. So you start Hincapié and White, or Calafiori and Timber. Being able to alternate through those pairs will be amazing for us the rest of the season, to have that unpredictability and to be able to adjust based on who we play. That's the first thing. The second thing is that it's nice to see that Arteta has the idea of one defensive fullback and one offensive fullback, which kind of relates to what I'm saying. One build-up specialist, whereas the other is more conservative and more, I guess with Timber, it's more about retaining the ball and better with, better technically, I think, better at retaining the ball for sure, and better defensively. Hincapié better defensively, but he offers something different because he's better on the overlap, I would say, and he's really good at whipping in crosses. But same thing, good at retaining the ball. Maybe not Timber's level, but probably better defensively if you're just talking about it from an aerial perspective, etc. I'm not maybe not better, but that level. So I'm very happy with our profiles. I'm very happy with how he's using them now that they're all fit. Happy with the starting 11 generally, like I said, and it's good that he's kind of strayed away from playing three runners. I haven't seen him play three runners for a while, and I'm so happy, because seeing three runners play is actually, it's horrid, it's terrible, and a lot of our drop points, are worse off performances have come from three runners being on the pitch. Just have two runners and one ball to feet, or two ball to feet, one runner, and it's ideal as long as we have two build-up specialists in the back four and one or two runners out of the front three. That balance is perfect. Just keep it like that for the rest of the season, and we will definitely win this league, and we have a chance at every trophy we play in. Now for the Carabao Cup final on Sunday, which is obviously a massive game. Nervous for it for sure, but I definitely think we can win. City lost today, I believe again, 2-1. Their confidence is probably down the drain. They threw away what they probably feel like the Prem and the Champions League in 1 week, and it might also be the Carabao Cup. So let's go. They're bruised animal. Bruised animals are always dangerous, but bruised animal also just need one more hit till they can be killed. Win that Carabao Cup final, and I'm so close to saying it's over.